escape. That's what
that
the
means.
like.
Hey, guess what? That was the last one I need to get promoted. I am now Pokemon Master.
I'm going to transfer to another freaking recruiting station, one that needs somebody of higher rank, and then they're going to promote me just by doing that. Ha!
Funny how things work like that.
Yeah, that's how the Army works, recruiting.
Yep.
I know quite a few who increased their rank just by transfer.
Speaking of Pokemon, Karen,
Yes.
Lieutenant Surgeon's classroom.
Oh, yes. There's an interesting thing in Pokemon. One thing that maybe people didn't notice as much when they were dealing with Lieutenant Surge, the Lightning American. Well, I mean, I guess we all just assume, they put in a soldier for, trying to, cater to Americans, and then of course it's a soldier because it's a soldier. But, we're really not thinking about the history of Japan here and the fact that we have so many military bases there at this time. Now, an interesting thing to note with him is that there are 4 bases in what is called the Kanto region of Japan, where the original game takes place. And one of them is an army base exactly where that city is. Which means that Lieutenant Surge was stationed on Camp Zama. He was stationed in Camp Zama, and he retired, and he decided to become a Pokemon trainer.
He retired as a lieutenant?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Okay.
Well, to be fair, I am a retired sergeant, so maybe he got medically retired.
He probably did. He probably got screwed up from the Pokemon War.
When we were already discussing how
I mean,
much
look
of
at that. He always dresses like that. I doubt he's doing it on the down low.
Yeah, maybe he got hit by a random thunderbolt by his Raichu or something.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe his Raichu saved his life when he was about to die. Maybe one of, we don't know what happened with Lieutenant Surge. But obviously he's still a little bit fixated. Because, it's quite well established that the Pokemon War was a long time ago. But he's still living the Pokemon War.
Like there was a Pokemon.
Yeah, there's
Where do you think all their parents went?
Damn.
Yeah. What do you think they did to those people?
Man, my childhood was an entire lie. Pokemon was a lot darker than I thought it was.
Oh yeah.
It is.
Nintendo, I would love to see a Pokemon.
Either that or the Army's just not really keeping track of his freaking lieutenants and he's running around and doing whatever he wants and starting a gym and nobody cares.
That does sound like some lieutenants I had.
We even bother going over
We can go over the comics really quick. Obviously, we've got Captain America, the Super Soldier, the recruiting tool, and yet an awesome character.
And the British counterpart, Captain Britain, I think his name is.
Union Jack.
That's him. Thank you.
I know, it's way better.
So much generic.
Sergeant Rock. And then,
Sergeant Rock.
Pretty good comic.
yeah, DC, going over to DC. Captain Adam is supposed to be an Air Force captain. And I think the only other Army exposure. And the first time we got exposed to it was from Batman Brave and Bold, where a Sherman tank just busts through the wall to save Batman, and it's being piloted by the ghost of Jeb Stewart. And again, I love that. I don't even know where the hell DC
GI
came up with
Comics
that.
was the one who premiered the
Yep.
Haunted Tank.
Not Haunted Tank.
Classic.
Aren't both of the major quote-unquote Greenlanders like Air Force pilots or something?
Oh, John Stewart. John Stewart is a Marine, and Hal Jordan is Air Force.
Okay.
We actually call it Green Lantern, I know.
Yes.
We all have different comics.
Really not much to go over that. It was just something to go over. I guess we'll end off the panel with any questions. Does anyone have any questions for us? What's up?
I guess one I'd have is, compared to, like you mentioned, the old days where you had a war movie every week with John Wayne, Audie Murphy, or any number of them, they're a lot rarer these days, despite, stuff like American Sniper making 100 million opening weekend. Why do you think that is, and do you think we'll start getting more soon with the number of veterans we have?
My guess is mostly cost.
cost and, you know,
Editing
they
time,
have,
special effects at this point.
it's not really necessary or needed. It's not really, I think a lot of the promotion for those movies was to use it as a tool for recruitment. You know, Sergeant York was a story about World War I, and the sergeant who pretty much took down a young army soldier who took down an entire German unit and captured an entire German unit. When it came and it came out, you know, as America was gearing up for World War II. So it was pretty much a recruitment tool to get people hyped up to, you know, try and be heroes. I can't help but think of the same thing with Sands of Iwo Jima and the Green Berets. The Green Berets was another John Wayne movie about Vietnam and why we were fighting over there and what we were fighting for. So, to answer your question, there's not really much need for recruiting tools, you know, to use film as a recruiting tool. So it's not really, and you know, we have more capabilities. We have more we have more special effects capabilities, and now that people can make science fiction epics and comic book movies, I think more focus is on, you know, to delve into a lot more fantasy than reality. Any other questions? Shoot.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, so that was one else for a second, sorry.
Sorry.
I'm surprised you didn't bring up Guile at all. Like, he's probably the most
Guy.
American, actually the most American character in video games, like anywhere.
Oh yeah, well, I figured he pretty much fell under the similar context of Lieutenant Surge, where it's, you know, in a way he reflects the American occupation of Japan, and in a way he is to appeal to the audiences in America.
I read that at least when he was originally created, back when the very first Street Fighter II, sad that I have to say that, was created, that supposedly he was the character designed for Americans to use, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably why he has 2 American tattoos. I think he's a major now. He's in the Air Force. Me and when I was active duty, me and some my colleagues, we were talking about how he could get away with that haircut. even if he is an officer.
Barely high inside.
That flat top.
I don't know if it was tight either. It kind of spread out.
Layers. It's a hairbrush.
Really? Oh, wow. That's terrible.
Hairbrush.
So pretty much it really was that it was created to pander to the American audience while at the same time.
That's why it's apparently had to use your special moves to do it. I know it worked for me as a kid. I can pull off a fireball and save my life. No, I figured it out. That's all I could play. Three is way better when it does that.
Any other questions?
Take someone on the panel, have a question? Go ahead.
This is a different subject. Something I've noticed watching military-related movies, especially when I was active duty, is how much they run the gamut as far as the military is concerned in certain movies. Like you have movies like you brought up the Hurt Locker earlier, Black
Hawk Down.
Sorry?
Black Hawk Down.
Thank you. Yeah, the Hurt Locker, Black Hawk Down. I would say Olympus Has Fallen, but that's actually kind of a different one. Where those type of movies, they're like specifically about the military and whatnot. These are like the day-to-day operations of the. Hey, there's a situation. Here's what they're doing and whatnot. It's usually pretty grim. Then you have on the other side something like Transformers or Olympus Has Fallen, where where the military is there, but kind of has like a background, and they're usually a bunch of idiotic jack monkeys.
They're like plastic tires.
Yeah.
Set on top of it.
And this gentleman just brought up another category, Avatar, where the military is used as
Mercenaries. They're mercenaries. It is
Pretty
very
much.
clear that they are mercenaries.
Watching that in the army was fun.
Oh, man.
They are contracted mercenaries. They with military experience. Pretty much, it makes a lot of sense. The government paid for their training, and then they just went over and
Make a lot more money,
Make a
not
lot
work
more
for the
money.
government.
working with a company that wants to attack the monkeys for unobtainium. Most horribly named, element or whatever, or
Unobtainium.
That's an old reference.
Oh, yeah, that's
Something
right.
that miners used to call or that they couldn't get. Was unobtainium.
But if you really foolish name.
Well,
No,
there's
speaking-
good
Oh,
names
and
better than-
and there's also the fact that in a lot of movies, you sir in the black shirt said that's not, the grenades don't work that way. How you see a lot of things, you're just kind of like, no, that's
What happens is
Really?
there's been a lot of situations where the real life equivalent is not as impressive to watch. Like Hollywood explosions or giant fireballs, because a grenade in real life is a metal firecracker that is there 1 second and gone the next. And when I saw it go off the first time, I'm like, that was cool and yet stupid.
That was very underwhelming.
If you, when you really think about it, the best example would be when the Mythbusters blew up that cement truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big explosion, loud crack, and then it was just gone, vaporized.
I think people are coming in for the next show.
Yeah, so I guess we'll close out with saying thank you. Thank you all for
Thank you
who
so much.
came in and
Thank you
technical
for
issues and
staying